In 2023 and again in 2025, two powerful lawsuits against Jehovah's Witnesses leadership vanished from the New York Supreme Court docket. Completely vanished. Just as 8 of the governing body members were about to face depositions, questioning under oath. Both cases were settled quietly. Both involved Bethel Direct and the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, and both reveal what happens when image matters more than innocence. Well, stay tuned. We're going to break these apart. Deborah Hines was just a child when she is assigned to live at Bethel. She shared a small room with her mother and her stepfather, Briggs. Her mother battled alcoholism, and when she passed out, Briggs, a Bethel insider working in video production, her stepfather, repeatedly assaulted her. She reported it to one elder after another, elder after elder. Each one told her to stay silent. One elder, Ted Adams, was the overseer of all video projects at Bethel. He was assigned to supervise Briggs. He told Deborah not to talk about it with anyone. When she finally spoke to Jack Barr, a member of the governing body, he said the words that now define the case. Briggs is too important to be disciplined because of his role in creating videos at Bethel. In other words, production came before protection. Barr told her the matter had been taken care of. He said Briggs had only admitted to digitally penetrating her, not rape. And she kept talking. She'd lose her pioneer privileges, he said. And that's how Jehovah's Witness headquarters, the same place now known for million-dollar movie sets and dramatized Bible films, handled an abused child in their care. They protected their filmmaker, Briggs, the video maker. The second case, filed just this year, came from another survivor identified only as D.L. Doe. Her lawsuit said she was groomed and assaulted by an elder, beginning as early age as 5. That elder brought her to Bethel without her parents, where the abuse continued. The complaint said the governing body, the Watchtower, and the Christian congregation knew or should have known about his behavior, but did nothing. Before any discovery, before the first deposition, before the questions could be asked, the case was abruptly discontinued. And if you look at the court documents, the docket itself, you go to the last one, the official record reads, discontinued without cost to any party. That's legal shorthand for a private settlement, a payoff with silence attached. When institutions settle like this, it's not because they care about closure, it's because they fear exposure. In both cases, the governing body was listed as defendants. Discovery would have opened the doors of Bethel, and the questions would have reached the very top. Who knew what? Who allowed it? And how many others were protected because they were too valuable to lose? In Montana, a jury once awarded $35 million against the Watchtower. After that, every major case since has quietly ended in stipulation, signed, sealed, and silenced. If you pay to keep the truth from being heard, you've already confessed. These settlements don't mean innocence, they mean avoidance. They mean the organization chose silence over sunlight, money over accountability, reputation over repentance. Today, Watchtower runs one of the largest religious film studios in the world, complete with sound stages, costumes, and cinematic sets. But long before the lights, cameras, and drone shots, Bethel's first video department was already protecting one of its own. Briggs. Briggs wasn't too important to discipline. He was too connected to expose. These two women's stories never reached a jury. Their voices were heard only in court filings and then silenced with settlements. But those documents still speak. They tell us that inside the walls of Bethel, where devotion and production merged, a child's suffering was weighed against a man's skill with a camera. And the child lost. I'm Vern Hoole, and this is Fixing My Faith News. Remember, guilt doesn't disappear in a settlement. And as always, live your life with love. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now. Okay, so we have two articles. This is kind of a bonus section. It was shared to us by watching Watchtower. Jehovah's Witnesses, Watchtower, New York, has now settled 2 cases of CSA at their former world headquarters, and why? And this is the other one. It's an older one, another case of CSA at Watchtower Old World Headquarters. That's where you can find these documents. That's where I found them. This is the New York State Quarters electronic filing system. And this is the newer case. We're not going to cover that one, the DL Doe versus a governing body. But if you want to see it, we will put a link to this in this video description. And you can see everything right from the start, the summons, the complaint. That's what I like looking at, what they're suing the Watchtower for. And then all the other things that goes along with it, exhibits and orders to show cause and affirmations and affidavits and so on and so forth. And you go all the way to the bottom and you can find out what's happening. And at the bottom, it's a stipulation discontinuance. And folks, that always means there's a settlement out of court. It's silenced. So Watchtower wanted to silence that one. That's what happened. Here's just some of the documents I had pulled up when I was doing my research. The one that we're going to look at today is this one. This is an interesting one. Deborah Hines versus Watchtower. We talked about that. We're going to look at the complaint. And I want to make sure this is brought to light because a lot of this stuff gets hidden beneath all these court documents. Notice of appearance, notice of this, memorandum of that, exhibits A, B, C. It's all. Look at how Watchtower can string this stuff along. They strung these guys along for quite some time. This file, and then finally this year, there's a deposition for them. If you were to read all this, we did videos on this. But the governing body, 8 members, had a deposition. We're going to read. They actually named the eight members, right? So this is the whole thing. Again, I'll attach these 2 links so you can look for yourself. This is not fake news. This is real stuff. New York State court system, and you can view the documents. So here, this Deborah Hines, they settled it. Stipulation of discontinuance. It's all settled out of court. And then we get into I went to the first one, the very first docket here, this summons and complaint. Now, I don't want to lose my place. I have it all. I'm on page 18 of 34, the background facts related to the plaintiff. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this word for word, just so you guys can see what is said there. Okay, so we're just going to get to the reading. This was filed back in 2021. I think we ran a video on it by Zalkin. And they sued the governing body. They named them all. Here they get into their naming them: Kenneth Cook, Samuel Hurd, Jeffrey Jackson, Mark Stephen Lett, Jarrett Loesch, Anthony Morris, the third Mark Sanderson, and David Splain. Jarrett Loesch, you'll notice in the complaint, was involved. So we're going to go all the way down to page 18 and read this word for word. There we are. Background facts relating to plaintiff. Plaintiff was raised a member of Jehovah's Witnesses. Plaintiff is Deborah Hines, right? So she was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. She primarily attended the meetings at various congregations in Arizona. The plaintiff became a pioneer in approximately 1987 or 1988. Plaintiff's stepfather, William Briggs was employed by Watchtower and governing body to produce videos at Bethel. Due to his position, plaintiff and her family split their time between Arizona and New York. Plaintiff and her family would spend 3 months in New York, where they lived at Bethel, and then return back to Arizona for 1 month, and then go back to New York for 3 months, and then so on and so forth. Watchtower and governing body assigned Elder Ted Adams as Briggs' overseer while at Bethel, and from approximately 1982 to 1988. When the plaintiff was approximately 10 to 16 years old, the plaintiff suffered horrific sexual abuse by Briggs. The sexual abuse occurred 3 to 5 times per week and included but was not limited to sodomy, rape, forced oral copulation, and Briggs urinating in the plaintiff's mouth. While at Bethel, plaintiff was assigned to work various jobs, including assisting with video production, working in the laundry facility, and as an elevator operator. And while at Bethel, the plaintiff was assigned by Watchtower and governing body to live in the same room as her mother and Briggs. And at all times relevant, plaintiff's mother suffered from alcoholism, and while plaintiff's family was living at Bethel, plaintiff's mother would frequently consume alcohol to the point of incapacitation. And once she was incapacitated, Briggs would sexually abuse plaintiff in their room at Bethel. And in approximately 1986, plaintiff reported her sexual abuse to Michael Filla, an elder who worked at Bethel. Mr. Filla did nothing in response. Briggs' sexual abuse of Hines continued at Bethel after Hines reported to Mr. Filla. A couple of weeks after reporting to Mr. Filla, plaintiff reported her abuse to Ted Adams, an elder at Bethel, the overseer of all video productions at Bethel, and the elder who Watchtower and the governing body assigned to oversee Briggs while Briggs was at Bethel. Mr. Adams told the plaintiff that she would not talk about her abuse with anyone. Mr. Adams was later removed as an overseer shortly thereafter. Briggs' sexual abuse of Hines continued at Bethel after Hines' report to Mr. Adams. Plaintiff then reported her abuse to Mr. Underwood, an elder at Bethel, and the overseer of all international construction at Bethel. Mr. Underwood did nothing in response. Briggs' sexual abuse of Hines continued at Bethel after Hines reported to Mr. Underwood. The plaintiff then reported to Jack Barr, an elder and a member of the governing body at the time. Mr. Barr told the plaintiff that he would relay her report to the entire governing body. Briggs' sexual abuse of Hines continued at Bethel after Hines' report to Mr. Barr. About 1 week after her report to Mr. Barr informed the plaintiff that the governing body had taken care of it, and that she would feel privileged for having the experiences that she had. That Briggs was too important to be disciplined because of his role in creating videos at Bethel. Briggs was too important to be disciplined because of his role in creating videos at Bethel. Wow. That they couldn't do anything about her abuse because Briggs had only admitted to digitally penetrating and not raping the plaintiff, and that if she continued to talk about her abuse, she would be stripped of her privileges as a pioneer. And following her report to Mr. Barr, the plaintiff was removed from her mother and stepfather's room at Bethel. The plaintiff was told that Briggs would not be told why the plaintiff was being removed from his room. Upon information and belief, Briggs was told that the plaintiff was removed from his room due to her accusations that he was sexually abusing her. Briggs' sexual abuse of the plaintiff continued when they returned to Arizona. Based on information and belief while in Arizona, Briggs escalated his behavior, including by physically abusing Hines in retaliation for the plaintiff's aforementioned reports. In or around 1987, the plaintiff reported her ongoing sexual abuse to Jarrett Loesch. Loesch responded that it had been handled, that Briggs was sufficiently repentant, and that the plaintiff should not talk to anybody else about the abuse anymore. Following the plaintiff's report to Loesch, Briggs continued to sexually abuse the plaintiff at their home in Arizona. And upon information and belief, Briggs was never disciplined by the Watchtower or governing body for admitting to sexually abusing the plaintiff. And the plaintiff ignored Watchtower's and governing body's directive to keep quiet about her abuse. And she continued to report her abuse to several other Jehovah's Witness members, including several more elders. As a result, Watchtower and the governing body retaliated against the plaintiff by removing her privileges as a pioneer in 1991. On the same day the plaintiff's privileges were removed, she was publicly reproved, and Briggs was elevated to the position of an elder. Briggs' acts committed against Hines while she was a child are sexual offenses as defined by the New York Penal Law 130. Now I'm going to quit reading here, folks. If you want to read the rest of this, there's 34 pages. You can get the link in the by searching the doc. So I'll give you this link, and then you'll have access to everything, the whole court case. And I just read for you the summons and the complaint. So that'll be the end of the video, folks. Regarding how you want to view this, I guess the rest is really up to you. Well, before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to thank our Coffee Club supporters. These are the folks who help keep Fixing My Faith going, and I'm scrolling through them right now. And if you see your name, thank you for standing with us. But here's the thing. The best way you can support us is absolutely free. Over almost 60% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you've been watching and getting value out of these videos, hitting that subscribe button tells YouTube to share this with more people who need it. So subscribe, like, and share. And we also run a completely free community. It's called exJWfriends.com. That's where you can find it on the website, exJWfriends.com. And then on the website, once you go there, there's a link to the private Discord channel. And that's where people have a lot of fun. People share their stories, they get support, and they can connect without judgment. That's what happens there. There's also people that will help coach, life coaches, counselors. There's all kinds of support at exJW Friends. And if you're waking up or just need to talk it out, that's where you want to go. So here's a link on screen in case you want to find it. And we also put a link in the descriptions of all of our videos. You can just go right down there and hit the link to the Discord community. So whether you are supporting through the coffee club or just clicking, liking, and subscribing, it all helps spread the message. And we want you to know that we appreciate you. Live your life with love, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.